Well, hello there. Thank you for stopping by. Do pull up your seat and pour yourself a glass of whatever tickles your fancy. I'm sitting in front of my vinyl record collection, and today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite bands since I was 14 years old. Nova Scotia's own, Canada's own, April Wine. When I first saw this album cover, I said, man, that's just wrong. But I get it. It's a reference to the days when people would stamp grapes barefoot to make wine. Their self-titled April Wine LP was the first to be released, and it was released in 1971. The song that I'm going to highlight for you today from that LP is Fast Train. Written by Myles Goodwyn, and it's a killer track. I just love it. Fast Train was also included in April Wine's 1979 Greatest Hits album and featured in Donald Sutherland's 1997 movie and soundtrack, Natural Enemies. This LP, April Wine, is the only album that has all four original members on it: Jim Henman, Richie Henman, David Henman, and Myles Goodwyn. Jim would leave the band after the first album to return to St. Mary's University in Halifax. My understanding is that Jim and Myles were childhood friends from Waverley, just outside of Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and the brothers, Richie and David, were from Lower Sackville, the other side of Bedford in Nova Scotia. I could be wrong, but that's what I understand. The story goes that the boys sent demos to multi-record companies within Canada in 1969 and 1970. They only got one reply, and it read, "Send more demos." It's a very polite way of saying thanks, but no thanks. But the boys got in a car and they drove from the Halifax area to Montreal, went to the Donald K. Donald record office and said, "We're here." And if you're of a certain age, you do know Donald K. Donald Productions. The boys were not expected in Montreal, a complete surprise, but they impressed management over the next several weeks, and the rest is history. Based on the radio results of Fast Train, April Wine made a second record called On Record. On Record provided three radio hits: Drop Your Guns by David Henman, another killer track, I just love that song. Dark Side of the Moon by Elton John and Bernie Taupin, Taupin being my favorite songwriter, lyricist of all time, if I may say. And the third is Could Have Been a Lady, written by that British band called Hot Chocolate. Yes, the same band that had the mega hit in 1975, You Sexy Thing, You Sexy Thing. Ow, I believe in miracles. Don't give me a hard time over my poor singing. It's highly recommended I not. But that was a wicked song too. From there, their career just skyrocketed. Over 10 million records sold, 16 studio records, 15 compilation records, and 10 live albums. My fave LP, live LP that is, from April Wine, is Live at the Elmo Cambo. It was recorded in Toronto in 1977. April Wine opened for or shared billing with, depending on how you read this, with the Rolling Stones. And the Rolling Stones were billed as the Cockroaches. Now how cool is that? You go to a concert expecting April Wine, sharing the bill with the band you don't know called the Cockroaches, and it turns out to be the Rolling Stones. Just incredible. I'm certain if you've not seen them in concert, you've heard their songs on the radio. Hits such as Fast Train, Drop Your Guns, Dark Side of the Moon, Ooh What a Night, Enough is Enough, You Won't Dance With Me, I Like to Rock, Could Have Been a Lady, Sign of the Gypsy Queen, Roller, Just Between You and Me, Rock and Roll is a Vicious Game, and Tonight is a Wonderful Time to Fall in Love. In September 2023, April Wine was inducted into the Canadian Rock Hall of Fame. And on December 3rd, 2023, Myles Goodwyn, the only original member in April Wine at the time, passed away. In March 2024, only 3.5 months later, the Juno Awards were held in Halifax, Nova Scotia. And the Juno Committee, during their televised broadcast from Halifax, acknowledged 3 Canadian musicians who passed away, but did not include Myles Goodwyn. Many of us in Nova Scotia were quite upset. I know I was, considering that the Junos were held here in Nova Scotia, and that's where April Wine had started. I guess rock and roll is a vicious game. So, what happened in 1971 when April Wine released their first record, titled April Wine, and the song Fast Train? Well, here's a few things that happened in 1971. Fran Phillips of Canada is the first female to reach the North Pole. I loved this as a kid. The original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory movie was released. Charles Manson and his 3 followers were convicted and sentenced for the Tate LaBianca murders. George Harrison and Ravi Shankar's The Concert for Bangladesh took place in New York. Apollo 14, the 3rd crewed mission to the moon, launched its return back to Earth. Bobby Orr is the first player to sign a $1 million contract with the NHL that year. Disney World in Florida opens in 1971. Steve, that's for you, buddy. John Lennon releases his songs Imagine and Happy Christmas, War is Over. Smokin' Joe Frazier beats Muhammad Ali in the fight of the century. Jim Morrison leaves the US for France and is subsequently found dead in Paris. Led Zeppelin releases Led Zeppelin 4. It goes on to sell over 25 million copies. That's an awesome record too. And in 1971, Jesse Jackson forms People United to Save Humanity. Well, I guess we can use a little of that today, can we not? Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate your time. I'm going to play a bit of Fast Train on vinyl for you now. To listen to the full song and the album, see the link provided below. Also, do visit April Wine's website for more information, aprilwine.ca. To watch April Wine's induction into the Canadian Rock Hall of Fame, see the link below as well. To listen to the music, check out the streaming sites and platforms that you typically listen to. To watch videos of them playing, search YouTube or check out their website, again, aprilwine.ca. And don't forget to purchase the music on vinyl. Nothing like listening to vinyl. So I'm going to play that song now for you as a note. Thanks again for stopping by. This is not the original. It's a re-release, but it's a gorgeous purple vinyl, isn't it? Isn't that gorgeous? Love it. See ya. Listen to the song.